Assalamualaikum guys, welcome back. Let's get into it.
Сега тези 4 дни ни се сториха като цял месец. Просто как не можеш да излезеш, не можеш някъде по-надалеко, надалечно място да отидеш. Трябва да се съобразяваш с ситуацията, където има скривалища там. Например, детето не можем да го изведем в градината да поиграе, защото ако има сирена, трябва веднага да търсим място, къде да се скрием или да се върнем в къщи. Напрежение. Много напрежение и стресово състояние.
Gaza's youngest influencer has been killed in an Israeli strike after tragically offering war zone survival tips. Yakin Hamad showed her 100,000 followers how she survived under daily bombardment. In one of her final posts, she showed how she was helping Gaza's orphan children. Yakin is one of more than 15,000 children reported to have been killed in Gaza since the war began.
Russia is very upset about the war on Iran, and because of that, they decided to destroy Israel and the United States on the international stage in 3 big ways over the past 24 hours. For starters, we have Russia, who was speaking at the United Nations Security Council yesterday, and they were very surprised to see Israel sitting across from them at the UNSC. They said, "It is very strange to us that Israel is sitting here today. Israel is not a signatory of the Nuclear Non-Proliferation Treaty, the NPT. Why are they here? This is hypocrisy." Now, this statement is a doubling down of what former Russian President Medvedev said earlier this week, which is that, of course, it's a little known secret, Israel has nuclear weapons, but they're not a part of the same international bodies for nuclear regulation that they demand Iran stays party to, okay? So that's the first one. The second one, Russia came out with a big one. They said, "We are still going to be developing and working on Iran's nuclear reactors," okay? And I think this is also very important to note because Iran doubled down on this and said, not only are we going to continue to work on our nuclear reactors, nuclear program, but we are going to work on developing our enrichment processes as well. Now, Iran's uranium is already at 60% enrichment. It only takes a few weeks to get up to nuclear weapons grade level uranium, which is something that I think personally that they should do, okay? Now, the last thing, the Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov, he completely exposed the IAEA, the United Nations International Nuclear Watchdog, which is supposed to protect nations that have peaceful nuclear programs. But instead, he pointed out the fact that Western states lied about Iran's nuclear program to legitimize the use of force on Iran. In addition to that, he made the point that the International Atomic Energy Agency, the IAEA, actually leaked sensitive information to Iran's enemies to facilitate specific strikes on their nuclear sites. And lastly, he pointed out that the reason why the IAEA is now so upset about the fact that they can't find a missing 900-pound supply of Iran's 60% enriched uranium is because they also want to give that information and its location to the Israelis so that
Competitions and stuff like that, But last I heard, they're in the Middle East. They ain't got nothing to do, you know what I mean? Well, I think all Russia is right, though. If they're not signed a non-proliferation treaty, why are they here? Nobody wants their opinion.
they can strike it again.
Is Israel committing genocide on the Palestinians?
Are you serious by asking this question? Are you serious? Do you consider yourself a serious journalist by asking me such a question?
According to Amnesty, who published a 296-page report published in December 2024, backed by forensic evidence, they say Israel is committing a genocide. Your response to that?
It's a bunch of liars and lies.
So you don't believe Amnesty, you don't believe Human Rights Watch, UN experts are discredited. Now some of Israel's most respected Holocaust scholars accuse your government of genocide, Jewish scholars. Professor Amos Goldberg, you know him well, I presume, a leading Israeli Holocaust historian, wrote, yes, it is genocide, it is difficult and painful to admit, but after 6 months of brutal war, we can no longer avoid this conclusion. This is one of the most respected Jewish scholars saying that your government is committing genocide. Why is Israel starving the people of Gaza?
But again, as you said before, genocide, starving, ethnical cleansing, my God, everything is here. I say again, nonsense, lies. And honestly, sir, I accuse you of being an anti-Semite, anti-Israeli journalist, and this is what you are. Please continue. This is what you are.
Did you just call me an anti-Semite for asking questions based
because you don't
on
allow...
UN reports, on Amnesty
Sir,
reports,
no
based on
sympathy,
Human Rights
sir.
Watch,
Sir.
UN experts, Israeli
Sir, that's
scholars?
what you do right now.
So now
that's
I'm
what you do.
an
Sir.
anti-Semite
Yes, sir, I'm sorry.
for
I'm
asking
sorry.
questions?
I'm sorry.
Can't ask some question without offending them. Truth hurts. They can't handle the truth. Just for asking questions, you're automatically anti-Semite. Doesn't make any sense. You support Palestine, you're anti-Semite. Can't win with these guys.
About your war?
If you accuse me,
I'm asking questions.
The Jewish
I'm not
nation,
accusing
no,
you
I'm
of
asking
anything.
you, yes, sir. What you're doing in this interview is a disgrace, sir. You're a disgrace to the profession of journalism. You're a disgrace. Is there anything positive about Israel? Is there anything positive about this country, or everything is bad? Are we the vicious? Are we the evil one? I'm asking you a question. You are a journalist covering between Israel and Gaza.
Now, your prime minister has an arrest warrant against him.
Okay. By the way,
for war crimes, okay.
Imagine
for starving a population. Your heritage minister, Amichai Lahu, said nuking Gaza was an option and called for methods more painful than death for Palestinians. More journalists are killed in Gaza than in both world wars, Vietnam, the former Yugoslavia, and Afghanistan combined, according to the Watson Institute's Cost of War project. As a former journalist and editor, can you explain to us why Israel is killing Palestinian journalists on a mass scale? Why is the Israeli government not allowing international press into the Gaza Strip?
This is a war zone, and in any zone, I covered Kosovo war, I covered Iraq war, I covered Afghanistan war. There were restrictions, and you should know it as well. You know it better than me.
Sir, I've been in this line for 20 years. I've covered the war in Afghanistan for about 15 years.
You?
Yes.
Good.
I've covered Syria, Israel, and Palestine for many years. I've been to Ukraine. Never, ever have I experienced a warring party denying access totally to a war zone. We can go to Ukraine and the Ukrainians will take us to the front lines and let us cover what's happening there. We can go and ask the Russians and they will allow us to their side of the front lines. Why is the Israeli government not allowing international press into the Gaza Strip?
Israel does not intentionally harm civilians.
Mrs. Haskell, your forces have shot civilians with white flags. Your forces have shot children. Your forces even shot your own hostages that managed to escape, waving white flags, speaking Hebrew.
How many proofs do you need, really? You remember South Africa went to sue them or done a case against them. Most of the case is them using their own words against them. If you remember at the beginning, they said no food, water, electricity will be provided, or they're going to close it down, or everything. So, in that genocide statement, you told me. I'll wait.
They were shot. 1,400 health workers in Gaza have been killed by your forces in the past 18 months. 1,400. That's not single incidents, that's a lot of incidents. Last month, IDF soldiers opened fire and killed 14 health and rescue workers, spraying them with bullets, then burying them with their cars in a mass grave along the road. Have any soldiers held accountable for the mass killing of 14 health workers?
Our soldiers are working in a very difficult environment.
If it was a mistake, why not call the UN and say, listen, we made a mistake, we shot at 6 ambulances and a fire truck, please come and look at what happened here. What your forces did, they killed these people, then they buried them in a mass grave.
Israel...
And it took the UN 7 days to get to the site.
The Nazification of Israel, that's where it should be filed. This is a country that's gone completely off the rails, and the more that you see it in operation, the more it looks like the Germans under Hitler. This is just hard to believe. We're talking about eradicating all of the Palestinians in Gaza, murdering them. This is hard to believe.
Every child in Gaza is the enemy.
You need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more offspring.
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it.
This is the sort of things that the Germans did. It's supposed to be never again. I don't see any evidence that people in Israel believe in the principle of never again, certainly when it applies to the Palestinians. It's sickening. I don't know what else to say. I didn't think anything like this would ever happen, but it is happening.
When there is a war, it doesn't matter who your enemy is. You need to destroy their offspring to prevent them from creating more.
I'm gonna pause it there and say that their own people are saying this. If you go on I think Google or something like this, it's like a social media website that lets you connect to people around the world. I think I remember there's one Palestinian guy. He goes around, talks to Israeli people, and the way they're talking to him, they're so genocide. I want to kill you and this and that.
Offspring.
Believe Israeli women.
These are the settlers in waiting, keen to start a new life, to annex Gaza for Israel. But what of the Palestinians who live in Gaza now?
I just think we need to kill them, every one of them, and that's it.
Believe Israeli women.
Speaking about more than 2 million Arabs, they will not stay there. We, Jews, will be in Gaza.
That sounds like ethnic cleansing.
Believe Israeli women.
That seems sociopathic.
I can...
Doesn't it?
No, not at all. This is normal.
Believe Israeli women.
No, a single loaf of bread should go there.
They're starving to death.
Well, pressuring, they have many means at their disposal. They are putting up pressure on many, many people. And at the end, I don't think that it will even help Israel.
Why, if this is true, why would the President of the United States pay attention to that lobby?
They are strong.
Strong in what sense?
They are controlling many things.
Controlling what?
Newspapers, medias,
Your Majesty.
Banks, finances, and I'm going to stop there.
Well, now wait just a second. You really do believe that the Jewish community in the United States is that powerful? They make the media reflect their view of foreign policy?
Yes.
They do not report? We do not report honestly?
Don't mix things, please. I don't say the media. I say in the media they have people. Not the entire media. Some newspapers will only reflect their views, yes.
No? The New York Times, for instance, is owned by the Salzburger family, who are Jewish. Are you suggesting that the New York Times is biased in its treatment of the question of Zionism, Israel's existence, the United States' relationship with the Arab world?
I will have to put all the articles of the New York Times written on this subject and draw the conclusion. You can put this to the computer and it will answer you.
What you're saying is that, yes, you do believe.
Well, let's wait for the answer of the computer.
Alright guys, I'm going to end it there. If you're new to the channel, please like, share and subscribe. Assalamu alaikum.